Hey guys, what's going on? Son here, and today I'm going to be talking about Lady Bird in particular, how it kind of, in a sense, resurrected the kind of dead high school genre in America, and the importance of high school film and television shows. So Lady Bird was a very interesting movie. It was written and directed by Greta Gerwig, who was nominated for an Oscar for Best Screenwriter and Best Director. And the film was nominated for Best Picture as well. And Saoirse, I think that's how you pronounce it. Saoirse Ronan was nominated for her third Oscar. She's only like 24, 23 years old, and was already nominated for her third Oscar. I don't think that's been spoken about enough how impressive that really is. So Lady Bird, a very simple tale about a young lady named Lady Bird, played by Shoshana, and her real name was Christine Lady Bird McPherson. She's a senior student at Catholic High School in Sacramento in 2002. She wants to go to Ivy League college in a city with culture, which is New York City, and her family's struggling financially. Her mother tells her that she's ungrateful for what she has, which isn't unnecessarily true. And her mother's played by the great Laurie Metcalf, who was nominated for her first Academy Award as well. She was obviously Roseanne's sister, Jackie on Roseanne. So the story is a really simplistic story, very interesting, and it's interesting because I watched this movie in early January. It's March now, and I loved it right off the bat, but over the last few days we were thinking about this movie, and I was like, man, this is like a great film. It's just really a great film. And why is it? Because it provides a nostalgia factor. It's really able to accomplish something that a great high school movie can do. When we look at the best high school films and TV shows, they can always kind of project something that's really interesting, in the sense that it's always able to kind of get you to go back to your past a little bit. Lady Bird did this. Superbad is interesting because Superbad, in a sense, kind of tried to do that, but Superbad while it's a very fun movie, and there are some aspects to it that kind of feel like high school. It's kind of just feels like whacked out, obviously. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in that movie. But movies like Lady Bird really, really go back in time and kind of make you feel like, oh, wow, that was kind of like how I was in high school. Not necessarily how you were in high school, but kind of the environment, the people that you saw, especially if you went to a private school. I didn't go to a private school in high school, but I went to one in middle school. So it really kind of makes you go back. I think one of the mediums that does high school dramas really well is anime, and there's probably too many high school anime shows and movies. But you look at for example, some of Makoto Shinkai's films have been in high school, like Your Name and Professor Meets Perspective, which is probably his two best films. And both of those films make you kind of go back. At least me would go back and remind me of my high school days, even if I didn't necessarily feel exactly how the characters felt. The situations kind of felt very similar. Or something like A Silent Voice, which is phenomenal stuff. The characterizations in that one was really, really impressive. It really made me really kind of think about my relationships with other people in middle school and high school. Same with other things like Song You Form is actually pretty good, though I wasn't in the band or anything like that. Or Toradora is another one. Anohana, stuff like that. And the purpose of these shows and how they really get you is that they make you really feel like, these are real people actually in high school, which I think is the toughest thing to do and is a real testament to the writing, or direction of these projects. Because that's one thing to create a setting that, oh, this is high school and that be it, but they're like really, it feels like really super dull situation, like something like One Tree Hill, which I did watch when I was younger, but looking back at it now, really didn't feel like a real high school. Or The O.C., neither one of them really focused on high school anyway. Truly, particularly The O.C. really didn't focus on high school that much. One Tree Hill did a little bit more. But they were like going to bars and stuff in high school. Like that's not really accurate. Versus like Lady Bird, the whole movie definitely felt like a senior in high school. Straight up. It really did. And you really believe that this character is a high school, even though Shoshana is in her 20s, she also looks young enough to pull off a high school student to begin with. But you really believe that these characters are going through a senior in high school, and then they're interacting with high school students. Which is like, even a movie like Juno, which is phenomenal, and won an Oscar for Best Screenplay for Diablo Cody. Juno, the character itself, didn't really feel like a high school student. Like, she was very witty, very smart, very quirky, And I mean, there are high school students that are quirky and smart and witty, but not to that extent. You can tell that she was really an adult, and this was written by an adult. Where Lady Bird, while it was more like she was making attempts to be quirky, smart, and witty. That she was really trying to individualize herself, individualization, if you will. And that is where Greta Gerwig's writing really shine. And and this is obviously has to be a little autobiographical for her in a certain extent because she is from Sacramento herself. And though I think she was older than Lady Bird was when this film was, the time period this film was. The time period is 2002. I believe by then she was already in college. But it's definitely Gerwig all through and through. And she's really able to paint this picture of a character who's actually really in high school and what someone like that would be going through, which would be kind of a low self esteem, trying to kind of find herself, kind of trying to really find where she fits in, and just kind of really individualize herself, which is the whole point of her character, the name being Ladybird, and why the film's named Ladybird. She calls herself a Ladybird to basically say, "This is me. I'm someone else. I'm different. I'm unique, and respect me." And that's what any high school and honestly just young adult in general really tries to do is really try to individualize themselves, really try to set themselves apart from everybody else, really stamp who they are and what they do and what and basically what they represent, so they can kind of feel a sense of self. That as you get older in life, you realize that's not really what it's all about. That the sense of self has nothing to do with what identity that you place on yourself, but it's more about just who you really are, authentically speaking, and who you authentically can become. And I think Lady Bird slowly, maybe like 1-2%, kind of realizes that as the movie goes on. But anyway, this is a fantastic movie. Really enjoyed it a lot. I do want to see it again. It's that great of a movie. It's just how a lot of nostalgia really makes you feel like, you're back in high school. And it really feels like you're watching high school characters, real high school people going through these high school problems that you can, consider. So, thanks for watching or listening. If you like this video, just like it, comment, subscribe, and